Hey guys, I'm going to do a quick review of my Mark V 25 watt Mesa Boogie amplifier that I bought now. It's been about a week and a half. So the first thing I want to start with is this. The amp is very daunting when you first get it. In other words, if you have never played any of the Mark series amplifiers, you have to read the manual. In fact, if you've never owned one of these before, I would suggest you go online and read the manual. It's really redundant and it's long. You don't have to read the whole thing, but you want to get an idea if this is something you're maybe interested in. I am really enjoying this amp right now, but boy, if I've owned a dozen amps, including I've actually owned a Mark V before, a full size, but I found it frustrating. I got rid of it, and I was hoping this was going to be a little dumbed down, and it is. But still, being dumbed down, I had to take some time to figure it out. Now, that being said, let me talk about a couple things for the guys that are interested in this amp. The first thing you may want to realize is this. Although it's probably one of the best practice amps I've ever played through, because it's so quiet, you can get every tone you ever wanted. Just bedroom, late at night, quiet. Not only would it not disturb the neighbors, you probably don't even disturb the people in the next room. It has a fan, and the fan kicks on, and it's not loud, but I don't know if you can hear it. Let's be quiet for a second. So I don't know if you can hear that fan, but it kicks on. It's not very loud, but it's there. And there's no way to turn it off. The Big Brother has a switch to turn it off. This one does not. So it's an odd thing. I wish they would have hooked it up to like a temperature thermostat so it just kicked on when it needed it. But I don't know. Maybe it needs it all the time. I'm not sure. So anyways, that's the only negative I have on the amp. Everything else is pretty positive once you figure it out. Once you start messing with the controls and figuring out how it's going to kind of work with you and your needs. So that being said, I've obviously A-B'd it against my Rectiverb and my Archon Power-Smith amp and my EVH 5150 50 watt head. And without giving any opinions other than this, it is on par. They're all equally great amps in their own way. And the best thing I can say is this. It is as good as the Rectiverb, it's as good as the 5150, and it's as good as the Archon for what it does and how it works. So now the Archon being the hardest one out of the bunch because it is a 100 watt head. It's more of a legitimate gigging amp, less of a practice amp. And the 5150 again, more on the gigging side. Although these two you can totally gig with 25 watts, as long as the venue's not that big, right? Or you're miking it. The rectifier. So you know the big difference between this and the rectifier. I actually prefer the clean on the rectifier. It's a little warmer, but not so much that one's bad and one's good. Just, you know, if I was going to give it a win, I give the win to the rectifier. Although distortion, without a doubt, I give it to the Mark V, only in one category. I find I like the rectifier's distortion better when they're turned up a little bit. It's less fuzzy, more raw. That's just my ear. You know, that's what I like. But at low volumes, it's not even comparison because the rectifier, even in 10 watt mode, doesn't get as quiet and as full sounding as the Mark V. So, that being said, let's give you samples. I'm using a custom 24. I'm in the bridge pickup, and I'm playing the clean channel on the Mark V. Okay, we're going to go to the dirty channel, right? Very amazing amplifier by all means. Definitely has that. A lot of guys probably like it for the heavy metal. I like it for the Dream Theater aspect. My 7-string, it just really comes to life. It's got a lot of tone. I'm running through my Marshall cabinets. Some guys might tell me, you know, I need to run through a Mesa cabinet. That's fine. I'm just running it through what I like. But the main thing I just want to communicate was what I just said. It has a fan, so if that's something you think you're, you know, is going to be a deal breaker for you, you want to consider that. You definitely want to make sure you're versed in it before you get it. It takes a lot of experimenting with it to get a tone. And the last thing I want to say is this. There's a guy named Ola. I'm probably saying his name wrong. It's O-L-A, I'm pretty sure. If you go to Mesa Boogie's website, he's a guy and he's doing reviews. And he does these really production reviews. And he did one of the Rectoverb and one of the Mark V. And the only thing I want to say to that is this. Since I own both, and I've been playing both pretty thoroughly, I totally agree with what you hear in those videos. I know they're produced a little bit, but what I'm saying is the vibe you get from both those videos is the vibe I get when I play those amps. He really captured that how I feel the rectifier sounds and how the Mark V sounds. So if you watch his two videos and you decide whichever one you like better, I can't tell you, you're going to be 100% satisfied, but I will tell you this. I really honestly believe that that's what they do sound like when you play through them. The Mark V is a little bit tighter, compressed, more saturation and fuzz. The rectifier is raw, right, chunkier. And those descriptive words are hard because not everybody uses the same words to describe sound, but you get the idea. So again, I just want to do a quick video because I know it's a new product and everybody's looking at it. And I saw Mesa Boogie saying that they basically can't even keep up with demand on these. So I thought I'll help some guys out when they're pulling that trigger. So since I just kind of did it on a whim. All right, guys. Thanks for your time. Know your gear.